I'm Raquel from the blog Out of the Past, and I'm here with another haul video. Now, I'm joined by my companion here, Raleigh. He's a Jack Russell Terrier mix, and we love him so much. He's got his own YouTube channel if you're interested in checking it out. He decided that this chair is actually his, so I'm invading his space right now, so he'll be in the video for the most part. Hi! You want to give me a high five? No? So this video is sponsored by Kingston Technology, and Kingston is a technology company that specializes in memory and storage devices. So I'll be showing you a box of goodies that I got from them. I also have some South by Southwest swag, and I have 4 new Blu-rays from Kino Lorber to also show you and give you little mini reviews about each of the films that I got. It's probably easiest to start with South by Southwest because I'm actually wearing some of the stuff that I got. So I've been going to South by Southwest since 2019. I've been covering their film festival. Last year, unfortunately, it was canceled, so they had a virtual festival, which I covered, and this year I'm covering it again virtually. Hopefully I'll be back in Austin, Texas to cover it in person. So I decided, because I'm doing South by Southwest at home, that I'd get some nice South by Southwest gear to kind of dress up for the occasion. So I got this trucker hat, which I'll show you right here. It's really cool. And I have like a similar designed t-shirt here. And I have this South by Southwest mug, official South by Southwest mug. Now, I have a little complaint about this one. I'm right-handed, so the design disappears when I drink my alkaline water in my mug, which is very hipster of me, don't you think? So my husband, who's left-handed, the design would show up for him. So I think that they should have made the design on both sides. So then it didn't matter if you were left-handed or right-handed, that it would always show. But it is a really cute mug. I love the simple design. It's really neat, and I don't know. I drink my water out of this one because it's not big enough to hold coffee, and I use my TCM mugs to hold my coffee because those are really big, and I like a lot of coffee. So I just use that for water. And then, so in the box, I bought the hat, the shirt, and the mug, and in the box what they did is they added this tote bag. So this tote bag is the 2020 design. They would have given this out at the 2020 festival had it been in person. So this is the design on the front, and it has Showtime on the back. Ooh, Raleigh's super interested in this, huh? Do you like the design, Raleigh? I love it. This is a really, really nice bag. So this is a big box from Kingston. Thank you to Kingston for sending it to me. There's lots of really great goodies inside. Sorry, not for you, Raleigh. I apologize. Lots of really cool stuff. And I'm not like super up on technology, so I will do my best to describe the things that are in here for you. But just note that I'm not a technology expert, but I do create content a lot. When I go to film festivals, I shoot a lot of footage, B footage, interviews from red carpet chats that I do, especially at the TCM Classic Film Festival. I do red carpet photography, I do YouTube videos, so there's a lot of video content that I do in photography. So I do need storage solutions for those because it ends up being a lot of stuff on my phone or on my storage cards. So I've been using the Kingston memory cards, especially for my camera work. And I've been using things like the Bolt, which I have here, this little tiny thing. I don't know if you can see it, but it's this little storage thing that you can put into your phone, and you can download photos or video content onto this Bolt, or you can just save it onto the Bolt, so as not to fill up your phone with lots of extra data that you might not need to have on there. So that's really helpful, and I have it in this little little carrier, which is nice. And then I live by this Kingston Nucleum. So you can see here. This has ports for the regular size memory cards, little micro ones. It has USB, like 2 different USB sizes. It has like an HDMI port and it has like some other ports on the other side. I use this like daily for my, so I work from home, so I connect my my monitor through this. I connect my my storage cards, my memory cards through that, and I also connect my mouse. So this thing, it didn't come with this box. I've had this for a while. This Nucleum, highly recommend, especially if you have a MacBook. So here are some of the things that are in the box. I say some of the things, I'm going to show you everything. So I'll do my best here to describe things. So first up, I'll show you the memory cards that they sent me. This is the Canvas Go Plus. It's 128 gigabytes at 170 megabytes per second. And this one is also, it's a Canvas Select Plus, and it's 128 gigabytes at 100 megabytes per second. So this is good for like standard definition video, and this is better for high definition video and like burst photography. And then I have this is really cool. This is the Canvas React Plus kit. I have a couple of these. This one has a 128 gigabyte memory card with 300 megabyte per second speed, which is pretty awesome. And it has its own adapter with a USB. So you can just plug that in to the adapter and then connect it to a USB port, which is pretty cool. And this next one has something similar, but it's a micro SD memory card. It's really tiny. This is 128 gigabytes, 285 megabytes per second. It has a little adapter you can put inside it, or you can put that inside this adapter with a USB. And here's another of the micro cards. And it has a micro adapter with it, and this is 128 gigabytes, 100 megabytes per second. I know, this is super interesting, Raleigh, huh? And this is a Canvas Go Plus, also a micro card. And this is 170 megabytes per second. And with the Nucleum, it has, like, as I said, the ports for both sizes, which is really nice. I have a Workflow micro SD reader and a Workflow SD reader. So this one would be good for the larger memory cards. You can plug this in here, and it has like cords in the back, so you can use this as an adapter and a reader. And then this one is for the micro readers. And what's really cool too is that they sent me this workflow station. So if you have a lot of video content that you use, whether it's like archival footage or video footage that you create and it comes from multiple sources, this is great because then you can connect multiple of these into this, and then you'll have access to a bunch of sources of data of video content and photography. So I haven't opened this yet. I saved it to open it on here with you guys. Let me open it up. Ooh, fancy, Raleigh. Isn't this fancy? So here is the workflow station with like 4 ports there. And then it comes with another adapter, another reader. This one has a, let me open it up. This one has a 2 ports. One is a USB, and I don't know what the other one is. As I said, I'm not really up on technology, but basically, they have little things so you could put the port in. So then you would add a bunch of these and have access to all your memory and your storage. Last storage device that they sent me is this Data Traveler Data Traveler Kingston, 128 gigabyte, 200 megabytes per second, and this is a what is it called? It's like an external drive. It's like a flash drive, and it's really, really tiny. It's like the tiniest one I've seen. Sent me this. So this is their like logo. Is this like head here? And I think this is like a stress ball. You know, I've been under a lot of stress, so this is going to come in handy. See it there. And then they sent me this. Sorry, it's in kind of bad condition. It's a snap-in cord organizer. And basically, if you have like, you know, a cord that's kind of unwieldy, you can like wrap it around, and then it snaps in the middle, so it keeps your cord organized. And they sent me this, and I'm not really sure what this is, so I'll open it up and see if I can figure it out. It looks like a little bag. It has a little carabiner here. What is this, Raleigh? Whoa, okay, this is cool. This is like a lens cleaner. Oh, that's so neat. So if you're like me and you travel a lot with your like, you know, laptop or devices, and you're constantly in need of cleaning the surfaces because of like fingerprints or whatever, this is great to have, because then you could just attach it to your backpack, or you could attach it to your keys, and then you have like something to clean your screen. That's so cool. Oh my goodness. I'm glad I opened that up. That will come in handy. I'll put that back together later. And then they also sent me, I'll open this bag. They sent me a mask. Kingston mask for the pandemic. This is great. Oh, this has nice coverage too. It's really soft. I'm telling you, they have really great swag. So when I went to South by Southwest in 2019, they sent me a bag of stuff, and one of the things inside was a hand sanitizer spray, and I never used to use hand sanitizer, and it ended up being that when the pandemic hit, hey Raleigh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, you're a good boy. When the pandemic hit, I had no hand sanitizer. Other than that one bottle from Kingston. So that came in handy because I couldn't find hand sanitizer anywhere. So they sent me more hand sanitizer. I don't know if you can see it. That's really cute. So then they sent me this sticker which says Kingston is with you. And then they sent me this really fun socks. So I want to say a special thank you to Kingston for sponsoring this video and for sending me all sorts of really amazing storage solutions for my YouTube channel and all my festival coverage. So last up is my haul from Kino Lorber. So for Black History Month, I decided to get 4 different Blu-rays from their Kino Lorber Classics, Studio Classics collection. So I have two feature films, and then I have 2 documentaries that I'm going to talk to you about today. The first one here is Ana Lucasta, which is a 1958 film starring Eartha Kitt. There's Eartha Kitt there. Sammy Davis Jr., Rex Ingram is in it as well. And it's a great drama about this young woman, Ana Lucasta, who is kind of the black sheep of her family. Her father wants nothing to do with her. She's kind of an outcast, and Sammy Davis Jr. is a sailor who comes into town, and he's in love with her, but she's also the object of affection of other people in her community too, and she falls in love with this one guy, and he's really like just a sweet guy, and then her father is kind of hell-bent on ruining their relationship and their future. So it's kind of a story about a forgotten woman, and Eartha Kitt is so amazing in this film. She's so vibrant and sexy and electric, and she and Sammy Davis Jr. have this good chemistry together. I really like this film, so I decided to pick it up. It doesn't have anything special in it, just the disc, and I believe all it has is trailers and subtitles, so no extras in this one. And the theme with the two feature films that I got is actually Sammy Davis Jr. So this is his film from 1966 called A Man Called Adam. And I actually did a research article for Turner Classic Movies. It's on their Tumblr blog. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link down below. And I wrote a piece about this film for Black History Month. And what was really interesting about this is from 1966, and Sammy Davis Jr. was kind of at the height of his Rat Pack fame. He had been making several movies with the Rat Pack, like Ocean's 11 and things like that. And he kind of really wanted to branch out into a serious role. Like his role in this is pretty serious, but this one was like a really serious, meaty role. It's like it's a jazz blues sort of film about a trumpet player who has this traumatic past where he lost his wife and child in a tragic accident. He survived it, and one of the other characters in the story was also involved in the accident, and he lost his sight. So he has a lot of like guilt that he's carrying with him, and he becomes really self-destructive. Well, what's interesting about this film is actually not that great, but the history behind it makes it really interesting. So this is an independent production. It's actually distributed by Joseph E. Levine, who was an independent producer at the time. This was like a couple years before The Graduate, which really kind of, launched him into becoming like a really important producer. And so this is actually distributed by Joseph E. Levine, who was a promoter and producer at the time, and he in a couple of years he would go on to produce and distribute The Graduate, small film. So this is an independent production. Joseph E. Levine distributed it, and then everyone here is like a newcomer or a friend of Sammy Davis Jr.'s. It's really interesting. The director is Leo Penn, and Leo Penn, father of Sean Penn, was blacklisted at the time. He was an actor and he did some directorial work on TV, but he was blacklisted, and Sammy Davis Jr. had worked with him on a TV show, and he's like, hey, come on to this project. And then you have Louis Armstrong, who was a friend of Sammy Davis Jr.'s. He comes on board. Ossie Davis is in this film, and he had made some like derogatory remarks about the Vietnam War, and Sammy Davis Jr. literally saved his career by saying to the studio who wanted to get rid of Ossie Davis, if you get rid of one Davis, you get rid of two Davises. So he brought him on board on this. His friend Peter Lawford from the Rat Pack, also in this film. And then you have a lot of newcomers. Frank Sinatra Jr. This is maybe a couple years after the whole kidnapping thing, and Sammy Davis Jr. was good friends with Frank Sinatra and always was trying to please Frank Sinatra, because Frank Sinatra had like bad temper and you could get on his bad side really quickly. So this was almost like helping out Frank Sinatra through helping out his son. So he's on board in this film. Cicely Tyson is the love interest. She's really great in this. She's almost at the very beginning of her film career. This is before Sounder, before all of her amazing films, amazing performances, before she's even like really a name. So she's a newcomer, and there's like several newcomers in this. So I won't tell you everything about it because you can find out more in my article. But this was like an independent production. This was an opportunity to make an authentic like jazz movie with black characters versus just having white characters, which was the case for a lot of jazz movies that came before. And the history behind it, I think, is even more interesting than the actual movie. And this one doesn't have a booklet or anything, just has the disc. And this has an audio commentary by a film historian and critic and trailers, but it's pretty low-key, so I recommend that. And then the documentaries here. The first one, tying this in, Louis Armstrong in this and Louis Armstrong in this. This is Jazz on a Summer's Day. Now, this is directed by Bert Stern, and it is a documentary basically capturing the 1958 Newport, Rhode Island Jazz Festival, Newport Jazz Festival. And I think the Jazz Festival had been around just like for a few years since this when this was filmed, so it was still kind of new. I mean, it's still happening, so it's an old festival, but at the time it was kind of new. And it's really interesting. You have performances by Louis Armstrong. It's kind of like one of the last performances. You have Thelonious Monk, Anita O'Day, that she had a really great performance in it. Chuck Berry's performance in this is really amazing. Dinah Washington, Mahalia Jackson. You have lots of different performances, and this is super interesting because I had watched a similar documentary about Memphis '69, which is the Memphis Blues Festival. That was like a celebration of Memphis's birthday. Like it's like I forget how many years they were celebrating. It was a milestone. So, and the documentaries were similar. So basically, you have these weird close-up shots on the performers. They're like the camera's like really, really tight on their face. And then you have so many shots of the audience. What are they doing? How are they reacting? And it's really funny because Patricia Bosworth, she was an actress, and she was good friends with Montgomery Clift, and she became like a biographer. She wrote biographies on Jane Fonda and Montgomery Clift and all sorts of people. She's actually in this. She's in the audience, and she's, I think in like on IMDb, she's listed as like a disgruntled redhead in the audience or something like that. And then when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, I remember. She's wearing like a bright red sweater, and she's like angrily chewing gum. She looks great. Like it's great because like the aesthetics. This is from 1958, and the aesthetics in this movie, the outfits are like, I love them. And you see lots and lots of shots of just your average people at this festival. And then you have these, famous performers on stage. So it's like a juxtaposition of the two. This is like taking a trip back to 1958. The quality of this is amazing. Oh my goodness. I felt like I was transported to 1958. It's amazing. I have not dived into the bonus features as much, but there's like a photo gallery, archival interviews with Bert Stern, there's a little mini documentary, audio commentary, and then there's a booklet inside. And I apologize, there's no Blu-ray because it's literally in my Blu-ray player right now. But you have this little booklet. There's Louis Armstrong. You have like an essay in here. You have the list of performers. So this is really nice. If you're into jazz music and you're into, even if you're just into like 20th century pop culture stuff, or you love the aesthetics of the 50s like I do, you need this. It's really great. So my last Blu-ray that I got, and I'm going to say this, what time is it? Nation time! That's something it's said in the documentary, like at the actual event. So if you watch it or if you've seen it, you'll know. So this is about the 1972 National Black Political Convention that took place in Gary, Indiana. Now this is super interesting. So this was an attempt to form a black caucus to boost current political, like black political leaders, and also like there's a speech by Jesse Jackson, and he's talking about like, okay, who's in Congress, who's in the Senate, how many black mayors there are in the United States, how many school board district, whatever, like he goes through all of like how many black politicians there are out there at the time. And there are delegates at this that represent every state. And so you have speeches. It's really interesting. You have speeches by Jesse Jackson's speech is like freaking amazing. Wow, it was really powerful. And you have people like Coretta Scott King, and Betty Shabazz. So you have basically Martin Luther King Jr.'s widow and Malcolm X's widow speaking. And then Isaac Hayes has a performance on there. Richard Roundtree. Harry Belafonte's in it for like a hot minute. But he also reads poetry over the film, and Sidney Poitier has a little bit of narration. So you get like the political speeches, and also kind of like this one, you get lots of shots on the people in the crowd. But the shots in A Jazz on a Summer's Day were really, really tight on the audience members. But this one's a little further away, and it kind of more captures the energy of the convention. And it's really interesting. So this is 80 minutes long, but it was censored when it aired on TV because of the content in the content of what they were talking about. Which, you know, I'm sure like the FBI was on this, and I'm sure like, you know, people felt threatened by this. So they cut it down to 58 minutes. So this is actually a 4K restoration by Indie Collect, and it was funded by Jane Fonda and the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. So this is the first time this has been available in its uncut version. And this is directed by William Greaves, the documentary filmmaker. His widow and I want to say his son do interviews and commentary on this. And there is also actually the Blu-ray is really cool design, and you got a little booklet here. It has an essay, and it has some credits there too. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you like this haul video. And Raleigh wants to tell you to make sure to subscribe to his channel. There are like a few videos on there. If you want to see him enjoying some peanut butter or doing an obstacle course, you can watch that. Right, Raleigh? Well, I hope you liked this video, and I hope to hear from you. Have a great day. Bye.